Hi, my name is Samantha and I'm the founder of Duckfeet Communications, and today I'm here to recommend a book, Uncommon Courage by Andrea T. Edwards. I think literature is very personal, and so I don't often recommend books, although I read a ton. But this one's got something for everyone. And I recommend books that tend to be fact-based to help somebody solve a problem. And this ironically fits into that category. Uncommon Courage by Andrea T. Edwards, who is also a dear friend, but more importantly has written this exceptional book, is really something I think that appeals to everyone. Because there are 108 wisdoms in here, so it's a great book to just read in small chunks. You don't have to dedicate 2 months to reading it exclusively. You just pick it up and you look for what resonates with you. And one of my favorites is number 6, which is let people be dicks sometimes. And I think it is really appropriate in the post-COVID world, because I don't think many of us are at our best. Many of us have gone through loss, or whether that's people that they love, or jobs, or an identity that they had to shift to accommodate something else that was going on in their family. And we can all be a little bit dickish. And I think that a global pandemic tends to bring out the dickishness in us. So it's really helped me look at other people's behavior, and my own sometimes, through a different lens. And I think it might do the same for you. And one of my favorites is number 24, which is be an exciting pants, because I tend to be an exciting pants. Sometimes it's overwhelming to people, but I think you should show up and be excited about whatever it is that you're doing. And I'm excited about this book, and I've bought it for friends. And I think it is the kind of thing that needs to live on your nightstand. And when you're having one of those days where something has gone wrong, whether it's someone's being a jerk, or you're having questions about your career, or something's going on with your child, there's something in here for that. And that's amazing, all in one place. Those LinkedIn articles that tell you this is an 8-minute read. This can be as long or as short as you want, and there's a beauty in that. And I think that there's some great stuff in here for everyone, kind of grappling with what COVID has meant to them, the great resignation. Are they working? Are they not working? Have they changed the way they're working? And there are a lot of pieces in here that are wonderful ways to reflect upon what you're doing. And one of those is tip number 20, which is trust your own counsel. And it doesn't say ignore everybody else's advice, but it does encourage you to be mindful of who that advice is coming from, and also to really trust your instincts. I had this epiphany in my 40s where I kept saying to my husband, but I've got great instincts in comms and marketing. And he looked at me and he kind of laughed. He said, "Those aren't instincts, Sam. That's 20 years of experience." And those kind of eye-opening moments are all through this book. One of those things that I felt quite deeply resonated with me was this chapter on Epiphanies on anger. And there's a quote in it that says, "Anger expressed is never about the person it's directed towards. It's always about the person who is angry." This one chapter has made me reflect over and over and over again when I feel myself getting frustrated with anything. Family, work, COVID, all of it. And there are 107 other wisdoms in here that are just as powerful. And so it stays on my nightstand, and I pick it up and I reflect on the day, and I look for a wisdom that I think is what I need that day. And it almost always is exactly what I need. 68, which is self-protection and the circle of trust. I'm an easy truster. I think that you should trust people until you have a reason not to. I'm not great, however, when people give you a reason not to, of protecting myself from being put in that situation again. I tend to go back to the same well, as my husband would describe it. And this chapter talks about, shrinking that circle of trust around them to protect yourself a little bit, but also allowing for it to grow again when you see someone else growing and changing and becoming a better version of themselves. And I think it's great advice for my kids. They're 10 and 12-year-old girls, and Girls can be mean at that age. And I want to talk to you about one of my favorite chapters, which is in good times and bad, serve. Look to serve. And it's meaningful to me because it's the reason that I started my company, Duckfeet Communications. I wanted to be able to do inspiring work for inspiring people, and I wanted them to be able to afford agency caliber work, even though they were small startups trying to do good things for the world. And so that chapter resonated with me because it is exactly what it says, which is when you're struggling with something else, helping someone else is often the best medicine. And I related to that along with the 107 other wisdoms in here. I don't think that there was one that hasn't related to me at some point in my life. And that is why I recommend it to friends. And that is why I'm doing this video to say, give it a whirl. It's really worth it. And it's really important to me that people know that people understand it's out there, that people give it a whirl, because there are, if I remember correctly, 108 wisdoms in this book. So while it might look like a bit of a tome, it's the kind of book you put on your bedside table and you leave it there, and when you had a shit day, you find the chapter that helps you look at that day with a different perspective, gives you a couple ideas on how to make sure that the following day is better. And everybody needs a book like that.